What's going on, everybody? Quancredible here to bring you the review for episode 144 of Black Clover. Now, this episode wasn't anything super crazy, just like kind of like I almost want to use the word pivot for where this mini arc is going next. Like, kind of just like it was more like definitely more of a transitional piece to move on to the like middle or more so final half. So like in the beginning, it starts off right where we left off in the last episode, where it was like in the middle of that of the cemetery with the chick. I want to say her name is Dazu, and this part of the episode really goes back to people who say that Black Clover doesn't have any stakes or that there's no consequences for anything, because like you can really see like right here that her and like even further on in the episode that a lot of other people do hold a lot of resentment towards the Magic Knights and the kingdom for how the Eye of the Midnight Sun things were handled, and how things were being handled for like bringing back the kingdom in general, like rebuilding it. Because she's like mad, like I don't want to say disrespectful to Yami, but like for lack of a better word, she's just is just angry, and for good reason. Like she lost her husband and her husband's mother, and it's really weird because again, in the scene we get like the flashback of like her like meeting her like husband, or not meeting, but I guess like him proposing to her as well as his mother. And I swear in that first episode of this, they seemed shady. Like they just seemed shady, and I won't drop that. I know there's a couple of you out there too that agree with me that they seem shady, but they just seem, I don't, there's something about them that just don't add up. And she has that scar on her like wrist or something. There's something about that, like there just literally has to be. Let me know down below if you think that they're shady, or if you're just like whatever, there's nothing to it, we're just looking too much into it. Because I'm really curious on how you guys feel about the husband and the husband's mother. But moving on from there, we get like more of the other group searching for Maria and Nero, and of course they can't find anything. And they realize that there is a tracker, like the Devil Banishers realize that there is a tracker on them, and they proceed with their plan to kind of like basically trick them to like one group will keep going to search for where the tracker is, and the other group will stay there, which works. I mean, I didn't really have any issues with that, because I mean Nozel and the others had no reason to not follow it, so it's not like they got, I mean, yeah, they got outsmarted, but it's not like that was a crazy, a crazy smart plan or something that they wouldn't just have to follow. I mean, I feel like that is how that situation should have played out. And then from there, they end up like going back, or Asta ends up, he wakes up. And to no surprise, he wants to just go out immediately, like charge headfirst into finding Nero, which led to like the funny scene of like Yami grabbing Asta's head and all that, and like him not being able to go anywhere. And then from there, like Yami is going to go off to the captain's meeting, and he does say something that I thought was interesting, where it's like, I already told Ghost if he freaks out, that he basically just told Ghost that he can't go out and search for Marie on his own, and that the rest of the guys have to stop him by force if he does, which is interesting to me because I don't really know if, like, I mean, of course, if the Black Bulls work together, they could obviously stop Ghost. But like, I don't really know if they would do that. Like, even though Yami told them to, I don't know if they would do it. Like, I definitely think that Magna and Luck would definitely do it, but I don't think anybody else would really help. I mean, Asta would probably help too, but I don't think Asta would go like all out on Ghost, which is just interesting. Like, that would just be really weird to see, almost like them attempting to fight Ghost to stop him. And I feel like Ghost is smarter than the rest of them, so he could probably, with his real double and his mirrors, he could definitely find a way to escape. So that's kind of what I'm anticipating for next episode, like Ghost finding a way to escape. But from there we move on to the captain's meeting, which I kind of feel like is the biggest part of the episode, or the most important one. Obviously, if you watch the episode, or if you were just paying attention while you're watching, the first thing that I seen and that everybody should have seen is that a bunch of captains weren't there. Like Kaiser, Dorothy, Rill, and William, they all weren't there. And I mean, I guess it makes sense, just because this issue isn't that big to where all the captains need to be there and they can keep doing whatever it is that they need to do. But it's kind of weird how big the issue is being treated, that you still call the remaining captains in here. Like, that's Nozel, Fuegoleon, Yami, Charlotte, and Yami. That's still 5 out of the 9 captains all called in for this issue. And it's like, granted, Magic Knights getting captured is a big deal, but I don't know if it's a 5 captain big deal. I guess that's where I'm coming from. I don't know if that's 5 captains worthy of attention, you know? Like, I kind of feel like it should just be handled by the squad that it pertains to. And that's kind of like, I don't know. That's one of my issues with the Clover Kingdom, or like you can either take it as the Clover Kingdom or how Black Clover's verse portrays the Clover Kingdom. Is I feel like they waste a lot of unnecessary manpower on things that aren't super, detrimental to the entire kingdom as a whole. I mean, yes, Nero is arcane, as they said, so she is very vital in their strategy against the devils. But 5 captains worth, I'm not for sure. I don't know, cause like them saying it like that makes it sound like no one else in the room is arcane, when like obviously Yami is, and I'm pretty sure Jack would fit in that category as well as William. Um, who else would probably fit in that category? And I mean, Dorothy's not in the room, but I feel like she is as well. And I even say Real possibly could be too. I mean, that's just me. Let me also. I need to know what captains you guys think are arcane and which ones you think aren't. Like, I'm just curious. But the ones I said, I think those guys are arcane. But we also have another person there, aside from Julius Semarks, but Daminato is there, and I really feel like I enjoyed him being there, just what he adds to the meeting. I almost feel like he kind of should be around for more meetings, just because it seems like that Parliament, or like Magic Parliament or Magic Congress, should kind of be involved in these kind of meetings or these kind of things. It just seems like he really would be. And he basically says, since this pertains to one of his subordinates, that he kind of feels somewhat responsible. So he's going to offer up as much information as he can. And he starts going over some of their magics, and I was just like, because like of course the main guy, or the main person that was under Deminato, has transparency magic, which like I remember episodes ago, I was talking about how it's very similar to Gildray's permeation magic, and they mentioned that how it's similar, but it can't hide his mana also. So it kind of does very similar things, but can't hide his mana. But they didn't mention that attacks can go through him, so I feel like that's another thing too. I feel like he can still be hit, whereas Gildray can't. And the other guy, his magic, barrier magic, at first glance, I thought, or not first glance, but at first hearing, I thought it was going to be cool, but the barriers he can make aren't even that big. I mean, them exploding on contact is like kind of cool, but I feel like the barriers themselves are weak. And then the third person, the girl, she has paper magic, and I was like, oh, this sounds lame, but like maybe it could like have like a redeeming quality, and it's like, no, it just grows to the length of paper. And I'm just like, how, like, what are you supposed to do in a fight with that? Like, what are you actually supposed to do in an actual fight? And then Jack, Jack is like, these guys don't seem like they're worth slicing up at all. And I'm like, they really don't. Like, these guys seem kind of mid. So like, I'm very curious to know like how they're gonna make all these people like dangerous in the end, because from what it looks like literally any Magic Knight that finds them could probably clap them, and that's kind of where I'm at on this one. It's just very weird. Like, I almost feel like if Magna ran up and found all these people at the same time, he could probably win by himself. Like, not a diss to Magna, but just showing like how little of a threat these guys more than likely pose. I mean, they did blitz Noel, but that was clearly for plot. And then of course the Devil Banisher's main goal is Asta. Like, they do want to get Nero and Marie, but their main goal is Asta. So they will be, like, I don't know if you guys seen the previews or not, but they will be proceeding with a public execution to like try to draw out Asta as well, to probably include him also. Now, I feel like this is really interesting, like how they're doing this, because as I said earlier, people said that Black Clover doesn't have any stakes, but like this part right here is stakes. Like, this actually is legitimate stakes. Like, there were lots of consequences from what all went down. Now, it does kind of bother me that the way that Daminato painted the situation, it makes Asta seem really, really bad. And I understand why he did it, because obviously you can't have the entire kingdom distrusting in the Magic Knight, so you have to, kind of do damage control. But like, you see here that the damage control is still kind of useless, because there are still groups of people that hate the Magic Knights for what happened, because they still did see them transform. So even blaming it on one singular entity or one singular person didn't really solve the issue. So it's almost like I feel like they might as well have just been truthful in the first place. But that's just me on the outside peeking in. But yeah, in the previews we do see that they are proceeding with the execution, and we can see Gauche there kind of seeing it, whereas Nero and Marie are in cuffs. Now this bothered me already just because Nero being cuffed just doesn't make any sense, because she could break out. It's not like handcuffs and Black Clover have ever done anything in the past, so I don't see why they would do anything now. The only thing that I could think of is maybe Nero isn't breaking out just because Nero literally can't fight. Like Nero has no attack spells, so that could be the only reason, I guess, why I'll have to wait next week to see why she didn't break out, or like whatever. But that's kind of all we got for now. So all in all, the episode was okay. I mean, it wasn't like amazing or anything, probably like a 5 out of 10. It wasn't like a bad episode by any means, but it wasn't like a really really good one either. Definitely still curious to see, like I was saying, where this all goes, because right now it kind of feels like this story is like going, and like we all know where it's going, but I'm still not seeing where the super huge threat is going to come in at, because as I said before, none of these guys seem extremely threatening. So like I'm just not seeing where the big dire like problem is, because it just seems like when someone finds them, it's going to be over. Like when any capable fighter finds them in a straight up fight, it's literally going to be over. So it just depends. I mean, there's the only thing that I could think of is maybe the chick with catalyst magic taking everyone's magic all at the same time that she is like with, could be an issue, but that's like all that I can see from here. Like still really curious to see where this all goes. But other than that, I don't have anything else for you guys. Make sure you guys like the video as well as sub to the channel. As I have been saying a lot in the past, we are getting super close to 1,000 subscribers. So if you could sub to the channel, I would greatly appreciate it, because I'm like really close. Like I'm super close to that. So if you guys could help me out, that would be amazing. Other than that, you guys have a great day, and I will catch you guys in my next video.